Patrick Spero from NowDebateThis.com. I'm here in Washington Crossing in beautiful Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Just a few hundred yards that away, George Washington crossed the Delaware River. Today we're going to show you some of the other hidden treasures in Bucks County and also meet a few people along the way and ask. Here we are at the spot where Washington crossed the Delaware on Christmas Eve, 1776. What you're looking on the other side of the river is New Jersey. Washington crossed in the middle of the night on that cold Christmas Eve and attacked the Hessian troops in Trenton, a few miles south. His surprise attack turned the tide of the Revolutionary War. Alright guys, here we are on the other side of the Delaware River. Just across is where Washington was staying. He crossed this river on Christmas Eve, 1776. And I'm here with Daniel and Christopher. Alright, so well Daniel, I'm wondering, who's your favorite president?
I have to say Abraham Lincoln.
And why?
Because he was a great president and he just knew a lot of things, and he's just real.
Yeah, well, great. Thank you. What about you, Christopher? Do you have a president you like? We're a few miles up from Washington Crossing here on the DNR Canal. In the 19th century, long after Washington had crossed the Delaware and the American Revolution was long over and the United States began growing economically, states across the country began building miles and miles of canals like this. Here, this canal goes for almost 60 miles and connects natural resources further up in the mountains of New Jersey and Pennsylvania to major ports such as Philadelphia and Trenton. Today, nobody uses them except for us, bikers and runners. We take advantage of the trails where the horses once walked miles every day. Jersey side, I'm standing here with Stacy Rhodes, who lives locally. He's a 27 years? Yeah. 27 years in the Marine Corps. And I can't wait to hear what do you think about presidential leadership, and who do you think was the greatest president?
Greatest president? There was two of them. Franklin Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy.
So you were in for when Kennedy was president?
I was in when Kennedy was president, and I was in when he was assassinated.
Oh wow. What was that like?
It wasn't good. I was in Paris when he was assassinated. Everything stopped. People just, they were dumbfounded. They never thought something like that could happen in the United States, particularly in the state of Texas.
Yeah. 100 yards further up on the Jersey side of the canal, and what you're looking at is Bowman's Tower. It's on the Pennsylvania side of the Delaware River. It's at one of the highest points on the Pennsylvania side. During the American Revolution, patriots would climb up that hill and climb to get the best view and spy on what the British Army was doing on the Jersey side of the Delaware River. Well, we got a little rained on here. You can never control the weather, but we're on the Pennsylvania side in New Hope. On the other side is Lambertville, and this is one of the bridges that crosses the Delaware. Let's keep going on this journey and see what people say about presidential leadership. Yep. Well, we were taking 16 high school students across the country, and they're going to be studying American history and determining what they look for in a president, what makes presidential leadership. At the end of it, they're going to debate who is the greatest president. The winner of the debate, scholars and historians and people like that are going to judge them. At the end of the debate, one of them will receive a $150,000 college scholarship.
And so who's funding it?
It's now debating here, Cato. So Jerry, let me ask you, who do you think is the greatest president in U.S. history?
Probably Lincoln or Roosevelt would be my guess. Washington is certainly up there.
Wow, those are three big ones. What is it that you admire most? What similarities do you see with them?
Well, they were all great leaders.
Yeah.
They provided leadership. They had vision. They saw a bigger picture.
What does leadership mean to you?
The ability to provide a vision, the ability to be the king, not in a political sense, but to have a kingly vision of their world and be able to understand it and then to get people to buy into it.
Yeah, that's great. All right, guys, we're on the Pennsylvania side, standing in the tracks of what once was where the horses would cart huge barges of natural resources from Scranton, Pennsylvania, down to Philadelphia. As you can see, it's not much use on the Pennsylvania side right now, but in the 19th century, it was very much in use. In fact, New Jersey and Pennsylvania created these huge, massive canal systems just to compete against each other, to see who could get the most goods traveling within their state. One of the reasons it's so overgrown right now is a couple years ago, some massive floods wiped out this whole area, and the state is still trying to recover from the damage. We're going to keep going on this path for a little while. Hopefully it's going to get a little better, and hopefully we'll run into a few folks along the way. Well, this was flood damage I did not know about. On the Pennsylvania side, it's been a little dicey. We got rained on, ran into a little obstacle on the path, stepped in the Delaware, but we're now at the soldier's grave. Behind us is Bowman's Tower. This area was the site of Washington's Crossing. This is all part of Washington's Crossing Park. Revolutionary War soldiers were camped out here before they crossed the Delaware. Some of them died in transit, and some of them died before they could even make it over here. And this memorial contains their graves. It's off the beaten path, but I think it's a really phenomenal memorial to those that fought for our nation's freedom. Yep. So here I'm at the soldier's grave, and I ran into John Olson from Seattle, Washington. So what brings you to here?
The history of it. I have a lot of family members in the military. I come here to see the history of things and just know that these men died before they even made the crossing. Yeah. So to me it's a kinship. A lot of POW flags up there, a lot of World War II medallion flags up there. They seem to all have a kinship together, yeah. So of the cost of what it took.
Well, one of the things our website is exploring this summer is presidential leadership, and one of the roles of any president is to be the commander-in-chief. So I was wondering, what do you think is the proper role for the commander-in-chief?
It's a big question. I think he's got to defend our borders. He's got to be a man that has a lot of strength, ability to not worry about what 51% think. America's protection to me is the #1 issue. Economics, all those other issues, they're secondary to our protection. So if he's strong, if he's forceful, but yet he's got to be human too. He needs to have humanity. He needs to have a heart, and he needs to know that if he puts men into war and women into war, that bloodshed's going to happen. So heavy job.
Yeah. Who do you think has been the greatest?
Oh, I think by far Lincoln would be the greatest. Although I love to see what Washington did, I just to go through what Lincoln did in terms of keeping two parts of the country together, to me is the most amazing thing I could ever think of in American history.
Great, thanks, John.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
And this summer some R&R, thanks to the gracious hospitality of the David Library of the American Revolution, the only library dedicated to the study of the American Revolution. It's located here in Washington Crossing. After Freshening up after that long and arduous trek, I'm now going to go to one of the great restaurants here in town, one of the most historic and elegant places around. Here we are at the inn at Phillips Mill. It's a historic home built in 1756. A local Pennsylvanian built a grist mill for all the farmers to bring their wheat and other crops in, to mill it, and then ship it to market. Today, it's a really great French restaurant. Well, we had a really fun day. We saw a lot of sights off the beaten path, talked to a lot of folks about presidential leadership and greatness, heard a lot of answers. To hear more, check us out at nowdebatethis.com.